They've been there and done that. And now the baddest of the rock gods methodically analyze and dissect musical notes, compositions, and riffs that made them go from the stage to the couch. This is My Favorite Riff. Here's your host, Nikki Sixx.
Nikki Sixx here with Jared James Nichols. What's happening, dude? We're gonna do some My Favorite Riff.
Yeah, we're gonna riff out, dude.
Yeah.
This is great.
So I'm glad you came down, and I found you on Instagram, and then we started chatting on the phone, and now you're down here hanging out and stuff. You got a new record coming out in October. New single, Last Chance, is out now.
Yeah.
So, you know, what we kind of do is we like talk about, you know, guitars, same stuff we chat about on the phone, and I was like wondering, what was like the first guitar you got when you first started out?
Well, the first guitar I ever got was like we were talking about, it was like a starter pack, right? So it was not just a guitar, it was the guitar, the cable, the picks, the strap. It was a Washburn.
A Washburn? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. It was like, it was a super small guitar shop, and they had it set up so like, if you wanted the starter guitar, it was that. And then if you wanted the medium, and then the advanced was.
Do you know how much it was by any chance?
Dude, I think it was $99.99.
Okay.
And that was like, that's some big bucks to, for like a 14, 15-year-old kid. And I remember though, when I brought it home, like I ripped all like the cardboard off, and the guitar was like in its little little protective case and everything. And I was like, oh man, like I pulled it out and I was like, whoa, like this is the weapon.
Yeah.
Like, let's do this. And then the biggest part was when I had the little amp and it was like clean, and I was like, this doesn't sound good. And there's a little button and it said OD for overdrive, and I clicked that and all of a sudden it was like,
that's it.
I was like, yeah, baby,
I'm home.
Exactly. And I think the speaker was like this big,
Yeah, which is great. Sometimes those are great sounding. Let's put a mic right in front of that.
Oh, it was perfect. It was everything I needed, because I was like obsessed with like Sabbath. I just wanted to learn Sabbath riffs.
Yeah, all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was like one of your favorite riffs you learned?
The first riff. Well, the funny part was I had buddies. They were playing guitar, and they were playing these riffs, but they weren't playing. I could tell they weren't playing them right. Okay. And I was like, dude, I don't think you're playing that riff right. Yeah, I am. You don't know anything. The first riff was. Electric Funeral, Black Sabbath, right? And then and I remember I learned how to do that, and I was like, oh my, like, this is amazing, right? Yeah. And then it came down, and then I learned. Right?
And you know what? It's so simple, but it's not. It's all about feel.
It's so about feel. So like, even when I play it now, like, to really nail it still, you got to think about it. Like, you got to be in the riff, right? You got to be in the moment, because there's like a million ways to play it, Once you learn it this way, it's not like it's over, because then you can add the. And that's the cool part, is like, with all the riffs like that we love when we were growing up, for me, it's like, it's not like I was ever like, oh yeah, I'm over that riff, or like, it's like a great riff is a great riff.
Yeah. Well, we talked about on your new record, and about what comes first, the song or the riff or the lyric, and you're like, the riff.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, like, with songwriting, if you don't think of a riff first, you don't really get like the teeth to it. Like we were talking about teeth.
Totally.
And I love a lot of pop, a lot of rock, a lot of alternative, but the stuff that really gets me is like, when you hear Black Dog or The Ocean.
Absolutely.
Or, that kind of stuff.
It's funny when you hear a riff and it's literally, you could hear, like, even if it's just at the core, like a few seconds of it, and you know what it is, and you know the whole song lays itself out for you. Like when you talk about like Black Dog, or like any of the Zeppelin, the Dazed and Confused, like that's another one of those riffs where you're just like,
And we all learned that one.
Of course, but I had to learn it like. That's what's fun about like guitar too, is like, no matter how good you get, or like no matter how much you work on it, like those riffs are like, they're timeless, they're classic.
Yeah. What I notice about you on Instagram is you're just really trying to get everything out of it.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
I think, I don't know if we were chat about this on the phone, but Mike Campbell from Tom Petty said he spends so much time just on his vibrato. And when he said that, you know, being a bass player, who's been playing guitar more recently, I started really looking at that, and I was like, what a do! I see that in you.
Absolutely. I mean,
Like, you're shaking the shit out of everything.
that's the thing is, like, a lot of times, like, I want to play guitar with like just like the abandonment, right? Where you're just like, oh, this is like, it's on the edge of your seat, right? But it took so long for me to truly develop like the control. So like, even if we're just sitting here, right? I want to be able to take like a single note and just hold it and just be able to, and just really, and control it to the point where, and it's like just stuff like that where you just literally like, it's just like,
you could blow through that.
totally.
You could like just play that very white and just get through it.
Totally. But there's nothing better than when you know, for me, when I'm playing guitar, that's when like the total connections there is like, and like people are always like, nice guitar faces, bro. You know, and it's like, dude, the reason the guitar face is there is because like I'm putting like every like atom in my body to be able to, you know, go. You know, and it's like, I don't know, I just feel it.
I feel when you start playing that you kind of like disappear, you become the guitar.
There's like that weird, like all of a sudden there's like, it's like the Will Ferrell when he like, I think it's in Old School, he answers a question and he's like, what happened? I blacked out. You know?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that when I pick it up and I start to play, it's like, I just go somewhere else.
Yeah. You know, one of the first things I noticed is, you know, you don't play with the pick.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, obviously, you know, we think about Beck and a lot of these great blues guys, but when you get into like playing the heavier rock stuff, like how do you do that? Because, you know, the pick's a big part of getting some of those rhythms and stuff.
Yeah, what's funny is it just started happening, like it was like a natural thing because I did play with a pick for a while, but once, like kind of, it was funny, like when I grew up and I was like in Wisconsin, right, I was like the blues dude, like I just wanted to play blues. Like I wasn't playing super aggressive, it was just like kind of more just about the feel and being like mellow and cool about it. But once I moved to LA, all of a sudden it was like I was like, man, I gotta do something like
you got all the guys.
Well, I moved to Hollywood and I was like, you know, everyone's like shredding and stuff, and it was like, well, I don't want to do that, but like I want to be able to like
compete.
Like, yeah, how do I hold up with these guys, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I got into like Leslie West and Mountain and like the Johnny Winter stuff and like being able to really, you know, and like using the thumb.
So you're using your thumb right
Yeah.
there, or your first finger and stroking down like you have a pick?
No, so it's just literally the thumb. So like when I play without a pick, it's like the thumb is my down and this is the up, right? Okay. So like if I were to play like an aggressive riff, I mean truly though, when my thumb is hitting, like it's pushing this, you know. So if I play like you need but it's almost like a drum. So it's like I'm literally riding whatever I'm. I don't know, man. It's just like I use.
It's home for you, yeah.
Yeah, and I use my hand more as like, because the thing I always struggled with was like, with a pick, I feel like there's just something in between you and the guitar. Like
I've heard that a lot.
It's real, man, because like.
And that one on the bass too, by the way. I played bass with the pick, and still do. But at home, I have an acoustic bass. I only play with my fingers, and I write totally different.
Totally.
But then when I get with the band, I'm like, oh man, I'm like my muscles. I'm not up to speed.
Yeah.
So, it must take a while to get that stamina up.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, like especially when we play live, I guess it adds to it, right? It's the shock value because I'll cut my thumb open.
Of course you will.
And then a guy will be like, he'll be like in the front, like trying to like analyze what I'm doing, and all of a sudden he'll see blood and be like, oh wait, what? You know?
Yeah. But it's not like Gene Simmons blood. It's real blood.
No, it's just like
nothing's worse than cutting your fingers and feeling the string on it.
Oh yeah,
it's like the worst feeling I think there is.
weird for me though, because like when I do play without a pick, like the real reason is just it's more connection to the guitar. It's more that isn't there between me and the actual guitar. You know, I just really want to have like a connection where if I can just like alter the touch of like the way, you know, like if we shook hands, man, and I gave you a big firm handshake, you'd be like, you know, or it's like, you know, so it's like literally it's the same with guitar.
So okay, so right now you win $1 million, right? And you have $1 million, you can buy any guitar in the world you want. What's your guitar?
That's a really tough question.
It's a tough question.
Literally, I just had like every guitar flash through my brain.
You're like all of them.
Honestly, I think if it's probably
I'm gonna tell you what I think you're gonna say.
Okay. If you're right,
you're gonna pick a 50s Les Paul with a P90. Maybe not even a burst.
No, it'd be a custom.
Yeah.
And the funny part is, man, is like I look at those guitars now, and maybe I'm just not that guy, but like that guitar, it's like a desert island, right? And they're not that expensive. It's not like an elusive burst or whatever.
Sure.
It's just like 50s golden era Gibson, right? Yeah, I would pick like a 56 Les Paul custom.
Yeah.
Just like aged and, you know,
naturally aged,
absolutely.
Not relic.
No.
Yeah, it's just been a million bars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The dirtier the better, because like it just adds to it, man. And you know, one of these days maybe I will win that.
You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that, dude.
Dude, I got to. I got to. You know.
What's your amp setup?
So amps, I work with Black Star amps.
Okay.
And lately I've been running like a single. It's like a 100-watt high gain. So basically, it's
like a combo or like a stack.
It's just like a 4x12.
Okay, yeah.
And basically, what I've been doing lately is just been plugging straight into that. And like I told you on the phone, is like we were in the UK like 2 weeks ago. We played a festival called Ramblin' Man, and we were setting up on stage, you know, and I'm carrying the head, and you know my buddy's got the cabinet. We put it up there, and I put on my guitar and I plugged straight into it. And the stage manager walks over. He's like, "What's wrong? Like, what's up?" Like thinking something's wrong, and I'm like, "Nothing. Why?" He's like, "Where's your pedal board? You know, where's?"
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm not using one." He's like, "Where's your tuner?" And I'm like, "I'm just gonna tune it before we go on, and then I'll just worry about it when I get there." And he looked at me and he was like, "That's the best thing I've heard ever." You know, like it's just I keep it really simple.
Yeah.
I've also used like combo amps, Black Star Artist 30. And I used those when I toured with Zach. I used 2 of those.
Yeah.
And I even remember like the first night we were in London, and Zach was on the side of the stage, kind of like checking me out or whatever. And after the set, like I was like nervous, and I walk up and he's like, "You're doing that through combos?" You know? And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Man, those got a great sound." You know?
Yeah. I've heard nothing but good stuff about them.
Yeah. And honestly, like it's one of those things again, the less in between, right?
Yeah.
The better it is. And really what I want to do is like just like what our heroes did, man, is like, you know, Johnny Winter, he just went up there and he plugged in. Leslie West plugged in, clapped him back on those. They just plugged in and played, and it's like that's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to look for a stomp box or like a pedal that's gonna like, you know, the only thing that's gonna make me feel better about my playing is if I'm more connected, right? And I just think a loud amp, it's heaven, dude.
Yeah.
I use D'Addario strings, 10 to 52s. And just recently,
for some reason, I thought you might be an 11.
I was until we were touring so much. Literally, dude, it got to the point where like I would wake up and go like, oh, like my hands like I was like giving like because it was just ripping, right?
Yeah. So you went to 10s, and what are you using?
So this is this is an Epiphone. I use Gibson and Epiphones. They just sent me this, and I've modded it to hell. Put a Duncan P90 in it, and man, I'll tell you what though. I never, you know, got on with a guitar like the customs, and you know the fact Gibson, Epiphone, whatever it is, man, that it's just quality stuff, and it works for me. I love the custom appointments though. The black guitars, with the white binding.
We talked about this, there's nothing like it, right?
There's nothing like it, because then when you're on stage and it's like you see the black guitar and you see the white binding with the lights and everything, you know, you're just like, damn.
Well, you saw my Firebird,
exactly.
Yeah, with black with the white binding. Love it.
I'm a sucker. Any guitar, especially like a Gibson, with those appointments, man.
Yeah,
that's
beautiful. So before we wrap it up, give me a little bit of last chance.
Oh yeah, here I got a
new single riff because it was written from a riff.
Yeah, it was written from a riff. So check this out.
Okay.
So the main riff. I'm tuning for everyone else, not me. So the main riff, so this is a cool one with the thumbs. Super just like almost downstroke. Perfect for the vocals. Yeah, just when the vocals take it. And you know, it's funny when you do this with your thumb after a while, if you're not warmed up, you're like by the 4th round, you're like, oh,
yeah,
I'm gonna die, right? And then it goes into the pre. I want to make it like an organ, right? Like
yeah.
And especially, you know, when you got the amp just cranking. The cool part is though the solo, because the solo is like, I did it on the spot and I was like, man, that's really cool. So we just kept it. So it's like, I gotta warm it up into. It's like Eddie, right?
Yeah.
And then back into the vocal.
It's cool. It's like I feel it's all glued together.
Yeah.
It feels like, you know, as you're playing it, you know, sometimes like the solo just well, that was like an afterthought. You know?
Totally. Well, it's funny because like I was saying, like these tunes, right? They really are natural and they're just super off the cuff. So like when I rip into that solo on stage, it's just like I just turn up my throttle, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I just go into it, and it's fun. It's exciting, and like that's what I think. Like guitar just shouldn't be so thought out, especially these days. You know, we need more guys that just really want. You know, you need the teeth, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
you just,
That's
it.
Thanks for doing it, bud.
Cheers.
Anytime.
Absolutely.